There's joy in my welcome, arms open wide in embrace. And here there's always room for one more at the table. Fill up your plate, I'll say grace. Yes, here in my home there is grace. And here in my home, old dog sleeps in the corner, claiming his spot in the sun. He's 15 years old, the two of us aging, pretending that we are both young. Yes, here in my home till we're done. And my floor wasn't swept today, the laundry just ran away with the day's worth of pots in the sink. And maybe I've learned to see the good heart God gave to me in a life that slips by in a blink. And here in my home there is safety and shelter. I'll put you up for the night, with pillows and blankets tucked all around you. That lumpy old sofa's all right. Yes, here in my home there is light. And here in my home there are plants in the window. Tomatoes hang ripe on the vine. I've learned to grow gardens in empty wood boxes. 4 stories up, it's a sign that here in my home I am fine. And bathtub needs elbow grease scrubbed on my hands and knees, Lord, it should have some shine. And maybe I've learned to see the kind heart God gave to me, the bundle of gifts that are mine. And here in my home there's been shadow and sorrow, more than the heart's meant to know. So I'll put the coffee on, we'll talk till the talking's done. Maybe that's how we grow. Here in my heart, I'm here in my home letting go. And my home is made of peace, joy, and great love. And here in my home, this I know.
Wow, Edith, thank you so much. I invite each of you, wherever you are, to just look at the home around you and to let Edith's words just swirl, dance, fill you with the love that you have for your home. Both the physical space around you and whatever that may mean to you. And take a breath. Very gently begin to turn from the outside of your home to the inside of your home. To you. And as you take another gentle breath into your upper chest, your lower chest, your abdomen, wherever it fills you, just feel the presence inside of you begin to grow. Feel yourself begin to relax into your chair, Chesterfield, or whatever you're sitting on. Feel your breath one more time. Now deeper into perhaps your belly or your abdomen. And just let it speak to you of letting go, of a deeper place inside as you feel your body beginning to relax more and more and more. Feel your hands, perhaps warmth or cold, tingling or pulsating. Feel your seat on the chair. Feel that energy running down your legs, through your ankles and your feet into the floor. Feel the pulsations happening in your body. Here in my home is grace. Here in my home, my heart, is love. Here in my home, I may be feeling other emotions that disquiet me, shake me, concern me. And if you do, just hold those two in your two hands and in your heart. And by doing so, you are telling all of you, I love you. You are precious. I am with you always. Always. And for a few moments, listen to the currents and the silence and the pulsations inside of you. And in the silence, know that you are home. Now very gently Take a breath. Allow it to invite you back into your body. Begin to feel your hands again and your feet. The chair beneath your seat. And feel the pulsations and the energy and the aliveness start to rise within you. As you open your eyes to the room around you, imagining the connection that we have with one another on this call, this video, to all of the people in our city, our country, and our planet. Feel yourself connected, coming back in to the room and fully present as you take another breath and return to this home. Welcome back. Today's talk, I'd like to begin this way. Is there something calling you home? Think about it as this entire service goes past. Bring it in, drink it in, and let's see where we go. As you already recognize and have heard, the Unity theme for September is home. Thank you, Edith, again for that beautiful expression and experience of your very personal home. Home touches us on so many levels. Have you ever had the feeling of being home? There's my question, next question for you today. Perhaps as you were listening to Edith's music and were looking around your own room. Or perhaps during the meditation you had a glimpse or a touch or a moment where something stirred inside of you. Maybe you've had other experiences in life that reminded you of home. Places you've been or healing experiences perhaps. Or perhaps feeling truly connected to someone in your life where that relationship spoke to you of home.
Eric, I truly feel connected to you, and I would so love to see your PowerPoint slide.
We had a glitch and I tried to correct it, so I will redo it in a different way. You're going to have to switch back to your PowerPoint because something happened on mine that kicked mine out. Can you go back to your PowerPoint?
Just go ahead and start sharing.
I have already. There we go. Now I can again.
I will. Technical difficulties.
Yes, so I'm just going to take you from this slide. Can you see mine yet?
Yes, clearly. Wonderful.
You can see mine now?
Yes.
Okay. Apologies. And that is the nature of our home as well, is things don't always go as we like. And we have laundry and dishes piling up, as Edith said. So let's try it again. So think of those experiences that you may have had of home at any time in your life. What did they feel like? Can you see that now, Angelica? I'll take it as a yes unless you come on. Did you feel safe with the thought of home? Did you feel that you could relax? Did you feel at peace, or perhaps that you belong? Did you feel love or loved? Connected or whole? Something in here keeps kicking out my PowerPoint, so I'm going to have to try that again. There we go. Perhaps simply the feeling of awe is what comes to mind with whole. Maybe it's not even words, maybe it's just something inside of you that knows you're okay. So when do you feel that way in life? I'd like you for a moment to go there now. Think of a time when you felt really safe. Take it in and take a breath. Think of a place where you feel truly relaxed or happy or at peace. Think of a person, perhaps, who loved and supported you, who really had your back and felt your heart and loved you unconditionally. Think on those for just a moment. Breathe them in. Remember them. And allow them to speak to your being. And as you come back, think for a moment, what does that experience show us? Well, for me, it says that that experience is still with us. In fact, home is not for me just about a place or a person. It's something that is always within us. Always within us. Unity theme for September, as you've heard, said, my search for home is already mapped. The way is already written on my heart. It couldn't be if it wasn't also within us. Back in 2014, the Unity theme globally for the year was come home, realize your higher self. And on the website, unity.org, it said about that theme, you always have a home in spirit and you carry it with you. Went on to say, when you consciously link your mind with divine spirit, you rise to another level of being and living as your higher self. When we link our minds with divine spirit, we rise to another level of the higher self. Angelica and I both spoke about this back in July. It was about shifting from my will to thy will was one way that we move from the personal mind to the higher self. From the thoughts of fear to the thoughts of love. From our worldly mind and self, shifting to our higher mind and self with intention, so that we remember God again. Or to put it in the terms that Reverend Eliza Bloom Robinson said last week, a new humanity. This is the consciousness shift from the individual self to the collective self, the higher self, that creates that new humanity that we long for and aspire to in our world today. So how do we practically do that each day? That's what unity is about, is trying to connect the ethereal, the metaphysical to the physical. Well, I put it this way. We do worldly things that remind us of home. But just how do we do that? Well, I'd like to explore about 5 of them with you very briefly, and I'd like you to think about which one resonates inside for you. The first one is to see with eyes of love. For example, by looking at pictures of someone you love. And here is a very, very personal example. This is one of my mother's great grandchildren. He was born about a year ago. And today is my mother's 89th birthday. Well, as I think of my mother, and when I watch her in her living room, in her home, look at these pictures of her great-grandson, she visibly changes. She melts. She giggles. You can just feel the current of spirit of aliveness come up inside of her. That is one way that she touches home and love in her life. Perhaps you might want to do the same. Here's a second way. Do something, anything that fills you up, that sings to you, that speaks to you. Perhaps you might go into nature or the tall trees, if those are in your area. Whatever fills you up. Perhaps it might be listening to music, a CD or MP3 of Edith Wallace, for example, is one of the ways I go there. What fills you up? Breathe it in. Think about it over the next week. Perhaps, and this may sound a little strange, it's about seeing what blocks you from the experience of home or love or peace or grace. Maybe it's busyness, going too fast, or pushing to be different or better or something other than where you are right now. How many of us do that on a daily basis? Perhaps it's resistance to feeling that blocks you. That as you start to go to this place, something says, oh, this isn't safe. And you suppress the feelings. Maybe it's experiences, thoughts, feelings of negativity, anger, or hatred. It's part of being human to feel those. And they also block our experience of home, of the higher self. And so it's also about finding ways to release these so that we come to life more openly, both outwardly and inwardly. Another way of touching home is to heal with the past. We all have parts and experiences in the past about that again would block us from the presence of the divine inside of us right now. Maybe feelings of loss and grief, or hurt and pain. Again, part of being human. As Rumi said, though, and here's the though, the wound is the place where the light enters you and us. And in fact, I've had that experience over the last 6 years of having to face my own grief and loss and pain through a daily meditation that is on the screen here, Ease Grief by Belle Ruth Naparstek of Health Journeys. I've done it almost every day for the past 6 years to keep opening myself up to that grace that is underneath inside. And maybe the practice of going home for you might be as simple as this: using words that speak deeply to you. What words take you to that deeper place? Might it be something like, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That's from Psalm 23. Might it be, the light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. That's from Unity. Might it be something as simple as peace? Oh, be still. If you choose words as your path home, think of it as a prayer. Say it to the divine spirit inside of you so that you call in, you invite that larger presence and being to help you to open up to that larger essence of who you are. So how do we make sense of all our different ideas of home? Let's bring this together and make it very personal and practical. Is home for you a place that you used to live, or a street which you grew up, or the friends you used to have? Is home for you the experience of being loved by a mother or a father, or a mentor or a close friend? What reminds you of home? Is home for you feeling loved by a significant other? I have certainly experienced that in my life and continue to cherish it. And in fact, as I was preparing this talk, I was listening to some music. The song title was "Have You Ever Been in Love" came on, and the words "It feels just like home" came on as I was writing this. That was sung by Jackie Evanko and was written by Jimmy Linville Jr. Maybe the idea of home speaks to you of a favorite movie like this one, Sleepless in Seattle, where Sam Baldwin, played by Tom Hanks, said these words, "I knew it the first time I touched her. It was like coming home, only to no home I'd ever known." Maybe home came to you at some point in your life like it did on a California highway driving south from San Francisco to Carmel back in the early 80s. And as I came into this sunset scene, I suddenly felt myself feeling that I was coming home. There's no way to explain where these places and experiences come from. Or maybe for you, home is this idea of traveling to that point after death, when heaven calls you home. How do we connect all of these? Well, this is the way it works for me. What if our true home really is deep inside of us? Wouldn't we keep meeting it everywhere we go because we'd be seeing glimpses of it and ourselves? Maybe the home we long for, the real home we long for, is actually our true self. In unity and other spiritual traditions, that's often called the Christ. Not just the man Jesus, but the consciousness, the self that he identified with. That might be described this way: Christ is the self we share, uniting us with one another and with God as well. And that comes from A Course in Miracles. The Course also says, at home in God alone does Christ, our true self, remain at peace within the heaven of our holy mind and heart. Finding home for me isn't returning to the past or waiting until we die. It's about shifting our minds right now, and whenever we think about it, to use our spiritual mind in the way we think, in the way we see, the way we speak, to remember who we and all others are right now, who we already are. So here's my invitation for the week to come. Whenever you think of home, every time you feel it or sense it or want it, I'd like you to think of this. Think of it as all of life, your heart, soul, and mind, and all of life, calling you home. Take a breath, relax into your chair in your home, and let's listen to Edith once again.
This song is called Out to Sea, and I wrote it, it's almost the paradoxical idea of finding home out on the vast journey. And I'm usually out on the road singing, and with all of the changes right now, I've actually been home a lot. But this is a song about finding home on the journey. Of ancient sailors, distant times, horizons wild and free, where oceans gray met skies of blue, far as the eye can see, with sails unfurled to catch the wind towards our vast unknown. It is faith had brought us out to sea, and faith that leads us home. And we're all timeless mariners, our ships built strong and true, with hearts that long to journey on in all we say and do. We cast off lines that held us tight, for we have always known it is faith has brought us out to sea, and faith that leads us home. May there be stars to guide our way, and moonlit sails to beckon you. A quick Godspeed to take the lead on a course built strong and true. Sometimes I think I've held behind safe harbors, quiet shore, and I am tossed on life's great waves, the endless ebb and flow. But calmer waters shall prevail, for I have always known it is faith has brought me out to sea, and faith that leads me home. May there be stars to guide our way, and moonlit trails to beckon you, with a quick Godspeed to take the lead on a course built strong and true. Oh, may you always stand to find the wind upon your back, and ocean sprays, warm sunny days of spar and jib and tack. May courage fill your sails tonight, for you have always known it is faith has brought